High Seer Valera stood before the great crystal of observation, her iridescent robes catching the light of 3 setting suns. The crystalline spires of the eternal watchtower stretched above her, reaching toward the stars her people had sworn to protect millennia ago. As the leader of the Luminary Collective, she carried the sacred duty of monitoring the development of younger species across the galaxy. It was a responsibility her people, the Lissari, had carried out since achieving enlightenment 10,000 years ago. The crystal hummed with energy as it displayed countless worlds under their protection. Primitive civilizations taking their first steps into space, young races grappling with unified planetary governance, and those on the cusp of faster-than-light travel. The Lissari watched them all, guided them from afar with the subtlest of touches, and protected them from their own destructive tendencies. High Seer called out First Observer Kalen, his voice carrying a note of confusion that immediately caught Valera's attention. In all her centuries of service, she had never heard such uncertainty in a First Observer's voice. "You need to see this." Valera glided across the observatory platform, her movements fluid and deliberate as befitting her station. "What have you found, Observer?" Kalen's fingers, long and elegant like all Lissari, danced across the crystal's control interface. "It's about monitoring Outpost Gamma 379. In what we classified as the Far Rim territories, it has gone silent." Valera's inner eyelids flickered, the equivalent of a human raising their eyebrows. The Lissari maintained thousands of observation outposts throughout the galaxy, each one a marvel of their crystalline technology, designed to last for millennia. They didn't simply go silent. "Show me," she commanded. The crystal's display shifted, focusing on a distant sector of space. The outpost's last transmission appeared, a routine status report from 3 cycles ago. Then nothing. But as Valera studied the data, something else caught her attention. The background quantum noise patterns were wrong. "Enhance the quantum signature analysis," she ordered, her heart's beating slightly faster. As the data reformed before her, she felt her breath catch in her throat. The patterns weren't random. They were ordered, intentional, like ripples in a pond forming perfect geometric shapes. "Impossible," Kalen whispered. "These patterns, they indicate observation at the quantum level. But none of the species in that sector should be capable of such technology. The most advanced among them have barely achieved crude fusion power." Valera's mind raced. In all their history of watching over younger races, the Lissari had developed a precise understanding of technological progression. Species followed predictable paths: fire, wheel, steam, electricity, atomic power, and so on. Even the variations they'd observed fell within expected parameters. But this was different. "Access the historical quantum noise patterns for that sector," she commanded. "Go back 100 cycles." As the data streamed across the crystal, a pattern emerged that shook the very foundations of Valera's beliefs. The quantum disturbances hadn't just appeared. They had always been there, hidden so skillfully that the Lissari's instruments had registered them as background noise. Someone had been watching them watch others. "Expand the search," Valera ordered, her voice steady despite her growing unease. "Check all sectors for similar patterns." Hours passed as the great crystal processed the request. When the results finally appeared, Valera had to grip the observation platform's railing for support. The patterns were everywhere, woven through the very fabric of space, like an invisible web. A web that connected back to one particular system they had long classified as developing pre-FTL civilization. "Earth. Call the Council," Valera said softly. "All of them. Now." Within hours, the 12 members of the Luminary Council assembled in the Chamber of Contemplation. Valera stood before them, her usual serene confidence replaced by a careful tension. "Esteemed Council," she began, "what I am about to share will challenge everything we believe about our role as the galaxy's guardians." She gestured, and the chamber filled with holographic representations of the quantum data. "We are not alone in our watching. We have never been alone. The humans of Earth have been observing us, and every other spacefaring race, for centuries. But they have done so using methods we never thought possible. The council chamber erupted in murmurs of disbelief. Councillor Zenthor, eldest among them, raised his hand. How could this be? Earth shows all the expected signs of a developing civilization. Their space technology is primitive, their global communications basic, their energy generation inefficient. Because, Valera replied, they chose to appear that way. They developed along a completely different technological path than any we have encountered. While we mastered the manipulation of light and crystal, they delved into the very fabric of quantum reality. Their technology doesn't register on our instruments because it operates on principles we never thought to look for. She brought up an image of Earth, seemingly ordinary, but now overlaid with the quantum patterns they had discovered. They didn't build outposts like we did because they didn't need to. They developed quantum entanglement observation on a scale we thought theoretically impossible. Every particle they've ever entangled has become part of a vast network of observation points. They've been gathering data, learning about every spacefaring race, understanding our technologies and our limitations. The council sat in stunned silence as the implications sank in. Their entire civilization was built on the premise that they were the guardians, the watchers, the protectors of younger races. But all along, one of those supposedly younger races had been watching them, understanding them, perhaps even subtly influencing them in ways they never detected. There's more, Valera continued. The silence from our outpost wasn't an accident. It was a message. The humans are ready to talk. They've chosen this moment to let us know they're here, that they see us. The question is no longer how we will guide them, but how we will respond to a civilization that has developed in ways we never imagined possible. As if in response to her words, the great crystal suddenly pulsed with new energy. Across its surface, quantum patterns shifted and changed, forming into clear, deliberate symbols. It was a message transmitted through the very quantum network they had just discovered. Greetings, Watchers. We have been learning from you for a long time. Perhaps now we can learn from each other. The council chamber fell into absolute silence. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Lissari found themselves in the position of the observed rather than the observers. And as Valera stared at the message glowing before them, she realized that everything they thought they knew about their place in the galaxy was about to change. Human ingenuity had not followed the path the Lissari expected. Instead, they had forged their own way, turning their understanding of quantum mechanics into an art form that had gone undetected by even the most advanced civilization in known space. They had proven that progress didn't always follow a straight line, and that watching the Watchers could be the greatest strategy of all. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the heart of Project Argus, deep beneath the Antarctic ice. The quantum observation chamber surrounding her pulsed with subtle energies as billions of entangled particles maintained their silent watch across the galaxy. On the crystalline displays before her, she could see the Lissari Council chamber erupting into chaos as they processed humanity's first official contact. "They're taking it better than the simulations predicted," remarked Dr. James Rodriguez, her longtime research partner. He gestured at one of the readings. "Look at their quantum signatures. Confusion, yes. Fear, definitely. But also curiosity." Sarah nodded, adjusting the neural interface that allowed her to process the vast streams of quantum data. Humanity had learned long ago that traditional computing could never handle the complexity of galaxy-wide quantum observation. The solution had been to evolve alongside their technology, developing new ways for human consciousness to directly interpret quantum states. 200 years of preparation, she mused, remembering all the histories she'd studied about Project Argus's origins. All because a group of quantum physicists in 2042 noticed something odd about their entanglement experiments. The story was legendary now, taught to every child in school. How Dr. Elena Martinez and her team had discovered that their quantum particles were being influenced by something beyond Earth. How that discovery had led to the realization that advanced alien civilizations existed, and that humanity needed to be very, very careful about how they proceeded. "Display the original Martinez readings," Sarah commanded. The quantum display shifted, showing the first recorded evidence of the Lissari's crystal technology interfering with Earth's quantum experiments. Rather than announce themselves or proceed with traditional space exploration, humanity had chosen a different path. They would watch, learn, and develop in secret. James walked over to another console, bringing up the current status of Earth's quantum observation network. Trillions of entangled particles, carefully positioned throughout the galaxy over 2 centuries of patient work. Automated probes, no larger than dust motes, carried quantum-entangled particles to key locations. Ships that appeared to be simple mining vessels or primitive colony expeditions secretly seeded quantum observation points throughout space. "The Lissari never stood a chance of detecting us," James said with a hint of pride. "They were looking for radio waves, for fusion drives, for all the traditional markers of technological advancement. They never thought to look for civilization developing along an entirely different axis." Sarah's neural interface tingled as new data flowed in. The Lissari were beginning to scan their entire network of observation posts, looking for more signs of human quantum technology. "They still don't understand," she said. "They're looking for devices, for installations. They don't realize that every particle in the universe is potentially part of our network. We don't need outposts or stations. We turn the fabric of space-time itself into our observatory." A soft chime indicated an incoming communication from Central Command. Admiral Helena Martinez, a direct descendant of Elena Martinez, appeared on the main display. "Dr. Chen, Dr. Rodriguez, the Council has approved Phase 2. You may proceed with the demonstration." Sarah took a deep breath. This was the moment they had prepared for throughout her entire career. "Acknowledged, Admiral." Initiating quantum resonance sequence. Her fingers danced across the neural interface controls as she began the careful process of adjusting their quantum network. Across the galaxy, entangled particles began to shift in precise, coordinated patterns. In the Lissari Council chamber, their crystalline technology started to respond, creating a bridge between 2 fundamentally different approaches to understanding reality. "Quantum coherence achieved," James reported. "We're ready to show them everything." Sarah nodded and sent the command. Through their quantum network, they began transmitting humanity's full history of galactic observation. The Lissari would see how humans had watched them, learned from them, and developed their own unique path to the stars. They would understand that humanity had chosen peace and knowledge over conquest, patience over immediate gratification. The data stream included everything: the original Martinez discovery, the formation of the Global Science Council that had united Earth's nations in secret, the development of quantum consciousness interfaces, the creation of the galaxy-spanning observation network. But most importantly, it showed humanity's determination to approach advanced alien civilizations as equals, not as primitives to be guided or subjects to be ruled. As the transmission continued, Sarah monitored the Lissari's reactions through the quantum feed. Their initial shock was giving way to something else: appreciation. They were beginning to understand that humanity had achieved something remarkable, not just technologically, but philosophically. Rather than rush to join the galactic community, humans had chosen to truly understand it first. "They're responding," James announced excitedly. "Their quantum signatures are shifting. They're attempting to match our transmission protocols." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. This was why humanity had waited so long to reveal themselves. Not out of fear, but out of a desire to meet the galaxy's advanced civilizations on equal terms. They had used their time in the shadows to develop something unique, a totally different approach to understanding and manipulating the universe. Through her neural interface, Sarah could feel the moment the Lissari successfully established quantum coherence with Earth's network. For the first time, 2 civilizations that had taken radically different paths to the stars were truly communicating, sharing not just information but fundamental understandings of reality itself. "Signal from the Lissari High Seer," James reported. She's requesting direct quantum dialogue. Sarah straightened her posture, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. Accept the request. It's time for humanity to join the conversation we've been observing for so long. As the quantum link stabilized, Sarah prepared to represent humanity in its first official contact with an advanced alien civilization. But she did so knowing that Earth was not approaching as a supplicant or a student, but as a civilization that had proven there was more than one path to the stars. The quantum dance between humanity and the galaxy's ancient guardians was about to begin. The Garden of Infinite Stars aboard the Lissari diplomatic vessel was meant to humble visitors. Its vast crystalline dome showed an unfiltered view of space, while floating platforms held specimens of every known form of sentient plant life in the galaxy. Yet, as Ambassador Michael Okonjo stepped onto the central platform, he felt only curiosity. Through his neural interface, he could sense the quantum vibrations of each crystal, each plant, each carefully engineered display of Lissari technological superiority. High Seer Valera waited at the platform's center, her iridescent robes shifting colors in response to her emotional state. The quantum network translated the patterns instantly for Michael. Uncertainty, fascination, and a touch of fear. "You honor us with your presence, Ambassador," Valera said, her translator converting her crystalline language into perfect English. "Though I must admit, we are still struggling to understand why humanity chose to remain hidden for so long." Michael smiled, his dark eyes reflecting the starlight above. "Perhaps the better question, High Seer, is why every spacefaring race feels compelled to announce themselves as quickly as possible." He gestured to the garden around them. "Your civilization chose to master light and crystal, to build physical monuments to your achievements. We chose to understand the underlying fabric of reality itself. Neither path is superior. They're simply different approaches to exploring the same universe." Valera's robes shifted to a deep blue of contemplation. "Yet you must have known of the opportunities you were missing. Trade, cultural exchange, technological advancement. Were we?" Michael interrupted gently. "Through quantum observation, we experienced the cultures of 1,000 worlds. We learned technologies developed across the galaxy, understanding their principles through careful study. And most importantly, we learned what not to do." He walked to the edge of the platform, looking out at the stars. "We saw young civilizations rush to join the galactic community, only to become dependent on advanced technologies they didn't truly understand. We watched as cultures lost their unique perspectives in their hurry to adopt galactic standards." The quantum network hummed with increased activity as more Lissari observers tuned into the conversation. Michael could sense their presence through his neural interface. The entire Luminary Council was watching. "Instead of following the expected path," he continued, "we chose to develop our own understanding of the universe. Our quantum technology isn't just a way of observing. It's a fundamental shift in how we interact with reality itself." To demonstrate, Michael reached out with his quantum-enhanced consciousness. The neural interface translated his intentions into precise manipulations of entangled particles. Around them, the starlight began to dance, forming patterns that shouldn't have been possible according to the Lissari's understanding of physics. Valera's robes flickered with shock. "How are you affecting the light without crystal matrices?" "We're not affecting the light directly," Michael explained. "We're influencing the quantum probability fields through which the light travels. Your civilization built magnificent tools to manipulate reality. We learned to speak to reality itself." The implications of this statement rippled through the quantum network. Michael could sense the Lissari observers struggling to process what this meant for their understanding of technological development. "But this is just one example," he continued. "Earth has developed countless technologies that operate on principles your civilization never explored because you found effective solutions through other means. Just as we've learned from observing you, we hope you can learn from us." Valera moved closer, her scientific curiosity overcoming her diplomatic reserve. "You speak of exchange, yet your civilization possesses capabilities we barely understand. What could we possibly offer in return?" Michael's expression softened. High Seer, you're making the same assumption many advanced civilizations do. That technological capability is the only measure of worth. Earth doesn't seek to dominate or to teach. We want to join the galactic community as equals, each civilization contributing its unique perspective. He waved his hand, and the quantum network around them shifted, creating a shared space of consciousness where human and Lissari minds could meet directly. Let me show you how we see the universe. The next several hours were unlike anything in recorded galactic history. Through the quantum network, humans and Lissari shared not just information but fundamental ways of perceiving reality. The Lissari experienced the human understanding of quantum interconnectedness, while humans gained new insights into the crystalline technologies that had built an interstellar civilization. As the exchange continued, news spread throughout the galaxy. Other civilizations began to realize that humanity's revelation would reshape their understanding of technological progress. The assumption that all species would follow similar paths of development had been shattered. There will be those who fear what this means, Valera said as their initial exchange drew to a close. Some will see humanity's hidden development as a threat. Michael nodded. We know. We've observed every major conflict in recent galactic history. That's why we waited until we could demonstrate not just technological achievement, but wisdom in its application. Earth doesn't want to dominate the galaxy. We want to help expand its understanding of what's possible. Through the quantum network, he could sense the Lissari Council reaching a consensus. Their fear was fading, replaced by an emotion that the neural interface translated as enlightened excitement. Ambassador Okanjo, Valera said formally, her robes shimmering with purpose, the Luminary Council extends an invitation for Earth to join the Galactic Conclave, not as a developing civilization to be guided, but as a full partner in expanding the boundaries of knowledge. Michael bowed slightly. Earth accepts, High Seer. Let this mark the beginning of a new era, one where different paths to advancement are celebrated rather than corrected. As he prepared to return to his quantum-shifted vessel, Michael reflected on humanity's long journey to this moment. They had chosen patience over pride, understanding over dominance, and wisdom over mere technological achievement. In doing so, they had not only secured their place among the stars, but had begun to reshape the galaxy's understanding of progress itself. The halls of the Galactic Conclave hummed with an energy unlike anything seen in its 1,000-year history. Dr. Maya Patel stood before the assembled representatives of 300 spacefaring civilizations, her neural interface processing the cascade of quantum data from countless species trying to understand the revelation she had just shared. What you're suggesting is impossible, declared Ambassador Xith of the Mechanoid Collective, his cybernetic arrays flashing with agitation. You cannot simply bypass the quantum uncertainty principle. It violates fundamental laws of physics. Maya smiled, remembering similar reactions from Earth's physicists 2 centuries ago. The laws aren't being violated, Ambassador. They're being viewed from a different perspective. She gestured, and a quantum network surrounding the conclave shifted, creating a visual representation of her words. Your civilization built incredible technologies based on classical physics enhanced by quantum mechanics. We chose to understand quantum mechanics first and let that inform our understanding of classical physics. The vast chamber erupted in a cacophony of debates, arguments, and exclamations in 100 different languages. Through the quantum network, Maya could sense the turmoil her presentation had caused. Humanity's latest revelation, the ability to influence quantum probability at a macroscopic scale, was threatening centuries of established scientific principles. Director Silana of the Lissari Science Council rose to speak, her crystalline staff pulsing with light. I can confirm Earth's claims. In the 3 months since formal contact, we have verified their quantum manipulation capabilities. They are not breaking physical laws. They are operating on principles we never considered possible. Maya nodded gratefully to the Lissari director. The alliance between human quantum scientists and Lissari crystal tech experts had already produced remarkable breakthroughs. By combining their different approaches to understanding reality, they had begun to uncover entirely new fields of study. The true power of diversity lies not in mere technological exchange, Maya continued, but in the exchange of perspectives. Each of our civilizations chose different paths to the stars. Now imagine what we could achieve by combining those paths. She activated a secure quantum channel, and suddenly every being in the conclave could see what she saw: the intricate web of quantum possibilities that surrounded them, the countless ways reality could shift and flow, the fundamental interconnectedness of all things. Earth is not here to replace your technologies or methods, Maya assured them. We're here to add another layer to our shared understanding. The Lissari mastered light and crystal, the mechanoids perfected the fusion of organic and digital, the Vextar learned to fold space itself. Each path is valid, each perspective valuable. Through her neural interface, Maya could sense the shift in the chamber's emotional atmosphere. The initial shock and disbelief were giving way to curiosity and excitement. Species that had long believed they were approaching the limits of their technological understanding began to see new possibilities. Consider the implications, she continued. The mechanoid collective's neural networks combined with our quantum consciousness interfaces, Lissari crystal technology enhanced by quantum probability manipulation, Vextar space folding guided by quantum entanglement networks. We stand at the beginning of a new age of discovery. Ambassador Xith's cybernetic arrays had shifted from agitation to intense calculation. You are proposing more than technological exchange. You are suggesting a fundamental reorganization of how we approach scientific advancement. Exactly, Maya confirmed. Earth remained hidden not just to develop our technology, but to preserve our unique perspective. Now we offer that perspective to the galaxy, not as a replacement for your own, but as a complement. She brought up a display showing the first successful fusion of human quantum tech with Lissari crystals, a new form of faster-than-light communication that operated on principles neither species had imagined possible alone. This is just the beginning, she said. Already, 50 species have requested to send scientists to Earth's quantum research facilities. We've established joint development projects with 12 different civilizations. The quantum network that once served as our hidden observation tool now connects researchers across the galaxy. The Vextar representative, a being of pure energy contained within a complex field matrix, pulsed with interest. You speak of sharing knowledge freely. Yet surely Earth must protect its advantages. The power to influence quantum probability alone would be meaningless without the unique insights of other civilizations. Maya interrupted gently. We learned long ago that progress isn't a zero-sum game. The more we share, the more we all discover. She accessed the quantum network one final time, sharing humanity's vision of the future. A galaxy where technological advancement wasn't measured by how closely it followed established patterns, but by how it contributed to the diversity of approaches to understanding the universe. Earth doesn't want to leave the galaxy, she concluded. We want to learn with it. Every civilization here has something unique to offer. Together, we can explore possibilities none of us could imagine alone. As the conclave session ended, Maya could sense through the quantum network that something fundamental had shifted in galactic society. The age of rigid technological progression was ending. A new era of collaborative discovery was beginning. In the months that followed, research centers across the galaxy began to incorporate multiple technological approaches. Species that had never considered quantum mechanics beyond its basic principles started exploring human methodologies. Others began sharing their own unique developments, leading to an unprecedented explosion of innovation. The galaxy was learning what humanity had discovered through centuries of patient observation, that there was no single correct path to advancement, and that the greatest discoveries came from combining different ways of seeing the universe. 5 years after humanity's revelation to the galaxy, the quantum-enhanced spires of New Alexandria rose from the surface of Mars, a symbol of the transformed galactic order. Within its vast halls, beings from 1,000 worlds worked together, each bringing their unique perspective to the greatest questions in the universe. Admiral Helena Martinez stood in the observation dome, her neural interface allowing her to see both the physical structure and the quantum probability fields that flowed through it. The building itself was a testament to the new era. Lissari crystals merged with human quantum technology, powered by mechanoid fusion cores and protected by Vextar space-folding shields. "Your ancestors would be proud," said High Seer Valara, who had become one of Helena's closest friends in the years since first contact. They chose to watch and wait, trusting that humanity would find its own path. Now look at what that path has led to. Helena nodded, watching as a group of young researchers passed below. A human quantum physicist deep in discussion with a crystalline Lissari, and a consciousness-uploaded mechanoid. Through the quantum network, she could sense their shared excitement as they explored new theories that would have been impossible for any one species to conceive alone. "We never imagined it would spread so quickly," Helena admitted. "We thought it would take decades for other species to accept our approach to technology and science." "That's because you underestimated how much the galaxy needed change," Valera replied, her robes shifting through patterns of contentment. Many civilizations had begun to stagnate, believing they were approaching the limits of what was possible within their traditional frameworks. A soft chime indicated an incoming quantum transmission. Helena accepted it with a thought, and the latest data from the Galactic Progress Council appeared in her consciousness. The statistics were remarkable. Scientific breakthroughs had increased by 300% in the past 5 years. Technological advancement had accelerated across every measured metric. But most importantly, the diversity of approaches to problem-solving had expanded exponentially. The Thorian Collective just announced their success, Helena said, sharing the data with Valera. They've managed to merge their biological computing with quantum consciousness interfaces. They're calling it living quantum processing. Valera's crystalline language chimed with pleasure. Another example of what becomes possible when we combine perspectives. They would never have considered such an approach before Earth showed us that technological progress doesn't have to follow predetermined paths. Below them, the Great Hall began to fill as researchers gathered for the daily knowledge exchange. Through the quantum network, Helena could sense minds connecting across species, across perspectives, across fundamentally different ways of understanding reality. Ideas flowed freely, each civilization contributing its unique insights to the collective advancement of all. "There are still challenges," Helena noted, thinking of the few species that had chosen to isolate themselves, fearful of the rapid changes sweeping the galaxy. "Not everyone embraces such dramatic shifts in how we approach discovery." "Change is never universal," Valera agreed. "But look at what we've achieved in just 5 years. The mechanoids have begun exploring organic computing, now that they've seen how quantum consciousness interfaces work. The Vextar are incorporating crystalline technologies into their space-folding techniques. Even my own people have started questioning our old assumptions about the correct path of technological development." A flash of light announced the arrival of Ambassador Xith, his cybernetic systems now integrated with quantum processors. "Admiral Martinez, High Seer," he greeted them. "The Conclave has approved the expansion project. New Alexandria will be replicated on 12 more worlds, creating a network of innovation centers across the galaxy." Helena smiled, remembering the mechanoid's initial skepticism about human quantum technology. Now he was one of its strongest advocates, having seen how it could enhance his own civilization's cybernetic achievements. "And what of the Deep Space Initiative?" Valera asked. "Proceeding ahead of schedule," Sith replied. The combined quantum crystal fold drive performed beyond expectations in the latest tests. "We'll be ready to explore beyond the galaxy's edge within 2 years." Helena felt a surge of pride. The Deep Space Initiative represented everything they had hoped to achieve. A truly collaborative project combining the best aspects of multiple civilizations' technologies. Humanity's quantum observation networks, Lissari crystal engineering, mechanoid computational systems, and Vextar space-folding technology, all working in harmony to push the boundaries of exploration. "We've come so far," she mused, "and yet in many ways, we're just beginning. Every day brings new combinations of technologies, new ways of thinking about old problems, new possibilities we never imagined." Through the quantum network, she could sense the ripples of innovation spreading across the galaxy. Species that had once competed now collaborated, each bringing their unique perspectives to shared challenges. The rigid hierarchy of advanced and developing civilizations had given way to a recognition that different paths of development all had value. Perhaps that was humanity's greatest contribution, Valera suggested. Not the quantum technology itself, but the demonstration that there is no single correct path to the stars. By hiding and developing our own way, we showed the galaxy that diversity of approach leads to stronger advancement than uniformity. As if to emphasize her point, a brilliant light flashed in the sky above New Alexandria. The first test of the new quantum crystal transportation system had succeeded, instantly moving a research vessel from Earth to Mars through a combination of technologies that no single species could have developed alone. "To the future," Helena said, raising a hand toward the light. "To diversity," Valera added. "To endless possibility," Sith concluded. Through the quantum network, their words echoed across the galaxy, touching minds and consciousness of all forms, a reminder that the greatest discoveries come not from following established paths, but from daring to forge new ones. Humanity had hidden in the shadows not out of fear, but out of wisdom, emerging when the time was right to help guide the galaxy not toward a single way of advancement, but toward an infinite variety of possibilities. In the great hall below, another knowledge exchange began, and the future continued to unfold in ways no one could have predicted, but everyone could help shape.